Hello all, Ron here, the Accidental Farmer. It's been 13 months since we purchased this farm. Going from a non-farmer to thrown in to be a farmer, all by accident. If you've been following along, we only wanted a bigger backyard and now we have a farm. Well, the 5 things I'd like to share with you that I've learned this year, being in this predicament, being this farmer, and learning from a fire hose are these. Is first of all, whatever you have scheduled and you think you're going to get done that day isn't going to happen. You might get some of it done, but there's so many surprises along the way. Now that we have animals, we have some sheep and goats and chickens and such, we also have fields and things like that. It is not unheard of to go out into the field and have a tree knock down some of the fencing. That has to be repaired right away. And the tree has to be cut up, the fencing has to be repaired, and there's three or so hours right there that was thrown into it in the middle of the day. It's almost like getting a flat tire on your way to work. You're not expecting it, but that seems to happen every day, and there is something. Very rarely does the plan for the day actually happen. We do have those days, and those are really rare, and and really exciting when that happens. Number 2. The days feel like you're on a hamster wheel. And the way I say this is the same thing happens every day. Up early before we're early birds anyways, but in the summer it's earlier. Now it's fall as I record this. The fall, we get out around 6, 6:15 is late. In the summer it's 5:15, 5:30. All the animals are waking up with the sun. And in the summer, the days extend until 8, 8:30, 8:45 at night before they're ready to go in to the barn or into the coop. And right now, the days are shorter in the fall. Everybody's retreating back to the coop in the barn a little earlier, which is nice. But it's getting up and it's putting them to bed, but there's so much to do in between. The projects happen. You got to check on the animals now and then. It's not unheard of for a chicken to get loose or a few chickens to get loose. It's just, no matter how high we make this, the fencing, which is 8 feet in most areas, they seem to find a way to get over it, or they're jumping over the gates, which are around 5 feet tall. So, those are the little things. Water, we want to make sure the water's happening. Winter, we have freezing water, even though we have heaters, and this year we're going to try bubblers and things like that. But it's a non-stop 7 days a week. So 13 months now. I've done this every single day. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, if you ever have this thought of being a farmer or having something like this, be prepared that this is a 7-day-a-week, 12 to 14 hour a day job. And I have not had a day off in 13 months. So, it's work. I mean, there's some days that, get the animals done and you got to take off. But one of the things is when you're out for the night or you want to go to a concert or something, you got to come back and make sure everything's buttoned up. Or if you're out, you're going to the fair for the day, you got to kind of cut it short, or you're relying on someone else to do all this work. And we have a lot of offers for people to do this work for us. Oh, I'll do it. I'll be a sitter, but it's more work. And they're saying it to be nice, but it's more work than most. I would say probably 95% of non-farmers are ready to take on. So that was that. Number 3. The unexpected. Have a lot of money. We kind of in our mind budget and we have it on paper what we're going to spend, but everything costs. As we know, going grocery shopping costs so much more. Running this farm costs so much more. And the animals, because they really don't produce other than the chickens about pay for themselves after 20 or so weeks. And you get a good 2 years, I guess, of laying eggs after that, I'm guessing. That's what I'm reading and that's what I'm watching and hearing. But the goats and the sheep, they don't produce anything at the moment, after a year, the goats will be bred and we'll end up with more sheep to feed. Hopefully we can use them for something, or you sell off some of the babies. The sheep, you'd think that you'd be using them for wool, but we had them shared a few weeks back. Nobody processes the wool. We've sent messages out. I was looking to have the wool spun, and then maybe a few hats just as gifts to made out of it. It's like pulling teeth. And what are you going to get? One of the farmers I was talking to uses the wool for insulation, and actually last year he burnt it because he didn't want to store it any longer. So there's the budget thing, and things that need to be repaired: fences, fields mowed, tractor behind me needs to be purchased. And just in the last few videos, if you've watched the well and the things like that, and now we're having some electrical done, it never stops. And so you have to have a padded bank account. If you're doing this on a shoestring budget, I could see it would be very, very stressful. It's stressful enough with all the work that needs to be done. And this is from me, who's purchased a farm that wasn't actually running. It hadn't been used. It was a farm, but it hadn't been occupied as a farm for 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. I'm not sure the exact years, but the amount of work it needed and the ongoing maintenance to keep this going. Number 4, how do we learning and watching YouTube videos like you're doing now, and I do all the time, is we watch these homesteaders on YouTube, and how pretty everything looks, and they have a drone shot of their beautiful farm and stuff, and I have yet to see one of those. I do have a friend who has a very large farm, and theirs looks like that, but they've been around for 100 years. It's not. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't operate that way. I had small gardens in the past, and I planted a much larger garden this year, thinking I was going to do great. And I don't know if it was soil conditions. It was my lack of knowing what I was supposed to do, not putting enough effort into it. But I probably had the worst. The garden was big enough, so we did get things out of it. But overall, ROI was the worst. In fact, the tomatoes, other than the cherry tomatoes, was the worst I've had. And I probably had 20, 25 plants, had the worst harvest of tomatoes I've ever had. So that was a tough one. Number 5, I'll sum it up as sweat, dirt, animal poop, and just being tired. I'll tell you, if you're not a person who likes the sweat and who is not afraid of physical work, and I'm not saying an hour of physical work, it's probably like 6 to 8 hours, 9 hours a day. Some days 9 hours, 6 hours a day of physical moving, lifting, digging, whatever it is. Not for a couple days, but every day it's somewhat physical. So that's, I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just trying to let you know what this all entitles. It's, the sweat is just in the sweat and the tired probably goes, the muscles hurt after a while, and being the age I am now, I just turned 60, I never thought I'd be doing something like this. Poop. I always had a dog, and you pick up after your animals, that's easy. But this stuff is everywhere. The goats and the sheep and the chickens and the mucking, I'd say mucking stalls, cleaning out chicken coops. You can't walk through one of these corrals without piles of something somewhere. So if you're afraid of that kind of smelly stuff, or that jumping in your truck afterwards and forgetting to change your shoes, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You'll find it on your arms, you'll find it on your hands, you'll find it everywhere. It's impossible to not find it. It's an experience. So, it's a lot of work. It's enjoyable. Today I'm out in the back field. I'm getting ready to probably set up the brush hog, which is the giant mower, to give this field one more one more last hurrah before winter comes in. But and you know, let's mention this is kind of like the bonus thing is, you know, we talked about budget. Well, I got the tractor, and the tractor's used every day practically. The brush hog will be the second time it's used. So I spent all this money on this giant mower to pull behind the tractor, and this is only the second time I'll be using it. But over the course of 3 years, it will have paid for itself. So that's the bonus part of the whole thing, and I can mow when I want to mow and not on someone else's schedule. So it's if you're thinking of doing this, I would say to volunteer at a farm for a month, at least a month, and you know, go to their busiest season. Don't go in January when, you know, they're kind of quiet in New England. Go in May, June, July, August. You know, September, October. These are the the days never end. So I would say do this for a month before you go, you know, head first into this with your wallet and your life, because it's a lot of work. But I got to tell you, there's nothing better than having coffee, looking out over the back fields and watching deer walk by. So that is what I enjoy. So coffee in the morning in the big room, watching the deer and just seeing the sunrise. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, like, comment. I'll answer you back. Thank you.